Hi, this is Tisch Aitken, and it is Tuesday, September 6th, 2022. And if you could please subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it. I have been very sick for the last couple of weeks with I guess an infection of some sort, not COVID, but something that really knocked the life out of me, and that was the day before Uranus retrograde. When did it retrograde? What did it retrograde at? It retrograded at 18 degrees of the fixed Earth sign of Taurus. And boy, it really shook me up. I didn't think it would happen that way. And I'm still on the mend, but I'm coming back to do videos. I am preparing for a time of a lot of reflection. We are in very strong retrograde energy, which means that that's when a planet appears to be moving backwards, and it is a time to reassess, reevaluate, reconsider, redo, rethink, and renovate. Renovate your mind, renovate the world. And I'm trying to renovate my mind because this has been quite a journey. And let's see. So Mercury, which is the planet of communication, will retrograde on September 9th at 8 degrees of the Cardinal Earth sign of Libra. And Mercury already entered its shadow on August 24th when it reached 24 degrees of the Mutable Earth sign of Virgo, which is the degree at which it's going to station direct on October 2nd. So it's retrograding into signs. Initially, it's retrograding in Libra, which is ruled by the planet Venus, reassessing partnerships, reassessing your values, how you can beautify the world you're in, and definitely your relationships. That's a big deal. Could be people from your past resurfacing, could be issues in existing relationships. Again, a good time to reevaluate how you can strengthen communication and partner well and even better with yourself and with others. And that's around the corner. It's already in its shadow. We're feeling that energy. The other bigger part of the equation is that Mars, the planet of ambition, how you get things done, how you move ahead, how you express your anger and process it, is going to retrograde on October 30th at 25 degrees of the mutable air sign of Gemini. And it's going to be retrograde until January 12th when it stations direct at 8 degrees of Gemini. And during that journey, which is a big deal because Mars will remain in the sign of Gemini until March 26th. It's a long time because it entered Gemini on August 20th. So that is quite a long time. And during the course of the retrograde and even prior to it, Mars will be out of bounds from October 22nd through May 4th, beyond its clearing its shadow, meaning the degree that it retrograded at or will retrograde at on October 30th, and it already entered its shadow on September 3rd. It reached 8 degrees of Gemini, where it will station direct again on January 12th. It will be out of bounds, meaning that it exceeds the sun's path. It is out of control. It doesn't play by the rules from October 2nd through May 4th. And that's a good way of thinking of when planets are out of bounds, they're out of control. And in Gemini, for a good portion of it, Gemini, Mars is not in its detriment or its fall position, but in Gemini, that's how we communicate. It represents our neighbors. It represents our local community. It represents our siblings, and it represents our words. And I know an Aries that has Mars and Gemini, and she can be quite combative. She's very bright, and she loves to walk around. She needs to walk and get outside a lot, but she can definitely be a little bit combative with her words, and yet she's also a fierce student. She's a very good student. And she's always learning, but we all want to be careful with our words. And I have a friend of mine that's a Pisces who's been saying he's been doing that, and I think that's a very wise thing right now, is being conscious of the fact that Mars will be out of bounds in the sign of communication. And that Gemini is like the Lover's card in Tarot. It represents choices. So while it's retrograde from October 30th through January 12th, that is a time to reevaluate your choices, reevaluate how you can be more effective in your learning, in your communication, in controlling anger. If you get, triggered, or you get, people will be more combative with this, but it's not like it's in Aries, which it rules. It's not in Scorpio, which it rules, which could be more divisive and mean while in Scorpio, but is very effective there. It's not in Taurus, where it's technically in its detriment and moves very slowly. But it also could be very interesting that it does represent a lot of choices. It does represent an opportunity to learn, maybe going back to school, maybe brushing up on courses in your work, how you get things done, or just taking classes you're interested in. And so that's another issue with this, is, or a good part of dealing with it. I'm still very scattered, so I hope you cut me slack on this. I'm just starting to get it together. And I thought of something when Mars initially entered the sign of Gemini, before I became Lazarus. I am Lazarus. I've come for the dead, but that basically I heard this child outside my balcony, and he was, this is I think the day that Mars entered Gemini, and Gemini can represent youth and young children, and he was, I think, hanging out with his sister and some of her friends, and he was probably about 10 years old, and he, I guess he said something he didn't mean to say. And with Gemini, it's, my mom was a Gemini. They're very communicative and talkative, and sometimes they'll say something that they're not necessarily really meaning, and not in a mean way. They just kind of talk a lot. And so this little boy was shouting out kind of in vain because nobody was listening. I think his friends left and such. He's like, listen, I'm sorry. I didn't mean what I said, and sorry to all the girls in the world. And it was sweet because he was yelling not in anger, just more in disbelief that maybe he said something he wasn't thinking about, and then they obviously took offense at. And I think for all of us, being cognizant and conscious of how our words affect people. And this little boy, it was a benign example, but there will be people that are going to get pretty mean with their words. And that could be, especially when it gets out of bounds from October 22nd, well, through May 4th, but it won't be in Gemini the entire time of that. So I think just realizing that this is going to be, there are several planets retrograde right now. And so this is a very reflective time. One personal planet already entered its shadow, Mars, which only retrogrades once every 2 years. Mercury retrogrades 4 times a year. And so if you're planning on doing something significant this fall, I would do so as soon as possible. If it's launching something new, if it's beginning a new job, if it's catalyzing something, launching an event or social media or something that you're trying to promote, the sooner the better. Mercury's retrograde, but you can redo it. It's currently in mutual reception with Venus, and so that is a good thing, even though Venus is technically in its fall position. It's in Virgo. It entered the mutable earth sign of Virgo on September 5th, where it will be through September 29th. And so this is good for getting organized, getting things done. Mercury in Libra is very agile, very communicative, and good for partnering with others. It's stronger in Virgo, but it's still, it's in an air sign, and they are in mutual reception. So finding ways to, get your needs met as you approach Mercury retrograde on September 9th. And I will do another video. There is a full moon coming up on September 10th at 5:59 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It will be at 17 degrees and 41 minutes of the mutable water sign of Pisces. This full moon will have Venus in Virgo in its fall position. This full, when Venus is in conjunct Jupiter, Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces. So it's readjusting to find what you love and what you value. Mercury retrogrades the day prior. So Mercury is retrograde in Libra, which is ruled by the planet Venus. So again, reevaluating the areas of your life that are not copacetic and how you can streamline them more. And this full moon is conjunct Neptune by 7 degrees. And so Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces. It can dissolve things. It can be highly emotional, intuitive, and psychic. Emotions will run high with a full moon in Pisces, conjunct Neptune, but it's excellent manifesting energy, good for doing some kind of a ritual to cleanse the energy, getting rid of clutter with Venus and Scorpio, Venus and Virgo rather. This full moon, the moon itself forms a trine, which is a very lucky influence to the south node of karma, which is transiting in Scorpio. And it forms what's known as a sextile, an aspect of opportunity with the north node in Taurus and with Uranus, because Uranus is still only within 2 degrees of the north node of karma, bringing a lot of excitement, anxiety, and the unexpected. A lot of creativity too in the turbulence. And the sun trines in the full moon chart, and they will become exact on the following day on September 11th, but this is a very emotional full moon, and it is obviously the day before a very sad anniversary. So it's honoring the loss, it's letting go of negative hindrances in your own life, and it's tapping into love, because we are approaching the age of Pisces next March, on March 7th. And Mars will still be in Gemini then. So, but anyway, so that's not far away. And I wish you all a lot of luck. I will be back later in the week, I hope, to do another video and get this back together. So thank you so much. I plan on doing a big article. Please follow me on Astrologer, tishaitken.com. You can sign up for my newsletter. I expect it to come out on Wednesday or Thursday before the full moon, but I am taking steps. My friend says poco a poco. That's what I'm doing, because I do not want to overwhelm myself as I heal. And I'm sure all of you need to take care of yourself. It's Virgo season. So thank you and take care.